Hey guys, Raj Sangha of Car Security. Today's episode, we'll be talking about some of the Car Security demo cars. Now, beside me, you've got our 997 C2S. That's already been featured on the channel. There'll be an update coming on that soon. And we've got my M2 competition. Again, that's already been featured on the channel. Now, a car that's not been featured on the channel is this gorgeous Mercedes E300 Coupe. So today, we'll be talking about this car. Before I get into the Merc, let's talk about number plates, because one thing I do get asked quite often, what does JBL stand for? So as you can see, all three cars have JBL number plates. We actually own all the plates from F1 up to F12 JBL. JBL is an abbreviation of James Bullough Lansing. He is the creator and the founder of the JBL car audio and home audio brand. We've been the distributor for JBL car audio since 2007, and when we took on the distribution, we thought, you know what better way to market the brand than have JBL on all our demo cars, so when we rock up at a show, there's a bit of cohesion with the demo cars and everyone knows that actually these are the car audio, the CAS stroke JBL demo cars. Now, a lot of these cars don't have JBL audio anymore. In fact, some of them don't have audio upgrades. For example, the M2C doesn't have any audio upgrades. But for that cohesion, we've kept the JBL branding on all our car security demo cars. So hopefully that answers your question about what does JBL stand for. Currently we have 5 demo cars in the car security fleet. Obviously 3 are here. We also have an F80 M3 and we also have a Mustang GT350. We'll review them at a later stage. Now, over the years, I've lost count of the demo cars that we've had that have had JBL number plates. The first one, F1 JBL, was actually an Audi TT back in 2007, I believe, and that had air and that had a massive JBL audio system. We've also had an Audi R8, slammed with KWs and Rotiform, 20-inch Rotiforms, and again a JBL audio system. We've had numerous Volkswagens, Mark 7 GTIs, Golf Rs, we've had a Scirocco, we've had Audi RS4s, I think 2 or 3 Audi RS4s over the years. What else? A Dodge Challenger, that had an amazing audio system. That was sold to a good friend of ours. BMs, 1 Series, numerous M3s, and we've even had a Subaru Impreza WRX on airlift, slammed on the floor with a ginormous JBL system. In fact, the rear bench was ripped out and we had JBL subs on the rear bench, where the rear bench should be. I regret selling that car, but it is what it is. So you know what? Enough of that. Let's get back onto the E300. Okay, so our E300 Coupe in ruby light red. Looks more aubergine to me, but obviously that's the official color that Mercedes have given. Airlift 3-piece suspension, as you can see, and these Rotiform 20x10 RSEs. These have been on here best part of 2.5 years. So we've had this car nearly 3 years. So yeah, the first thing we did was obviously airlift suspension and change the wheels. And I've got to say, this setup does look fantastic. There's not many Mercedes E300s out there which look as good as this. From factory, this has the AMG line body kit, and we've also added this rear deck lid spoiler, which gives it a bit more sort of aggressive stance. Other than that, externally, the car is stock. We haven't changed the exhaust, we haven't added any new bumpers, we've not upgraded the engine. Audio-wise, we've changed all the speakers out in the cabin to Focal Flax custom fit range, and we've added a Focal 12-inch E30KX subwoofer. There are also 2 Focal amplifiers hidden underneath the lower section here, a 4-channel which runs the 4 speakers in the cabin, and also a dedicated mono amplifier which runs the subwoofer. The airlift setup, the actual tank, is hidden behind the subwoofer. We've got a little custom enclosure for the tank. The compressor and the manifold, they're again housed in this section here underneath the subwoofer, hidden away. It allows full use of the boot space. Even with the subwoofer box, you've still got good boot space. Sound-wise, very, very impressive. But we're going to go out shortly with Jason and he'll explain how this sounds, because he's heard this car with the original setup and he's been running this car for a little while, so he knows how it sounds. Interior wise, stock. So let's have a look at the inside. So as you can see, it's stock inside. Now some of these Mercs do actually come with a Burmeister speaker upgrade. We have had customers come in and add a subwoofer to the Burmeister system, pay a lot of money for that system, but what it does lack is some depth. So I've lost count of the amount of Mercs that we've done by adding a sub. In some cases, we've had customers come to us and say, can you actually rip the Burmeister system out and upgrade it to something better? And normally it's been focal. So don't always rely on ticking that speaker upgrade option with the manufacturer. There are better solutions available aftermarket. Right, we have Jason with us. You saying, Jason?
What's going on?
First time on the camera, so do you want to explain to the audience how long you've been at Cardio Security and what you do for the business?
Cardio, I've been coming on 18 years. Look after the online retail side, so making sure sales are happening.
So basically, if you've emailed or if you've phoned through to the office, chances are you've spoken with Jason. So he's the guy that handles all the inquiries and the leads and then passes them down into the retail showroom and so on. So yeah, here's Jason. Now, Jason's driven this car the most, and he's the one that's taken it to shows and events and so on. So he knows the car before the airlift was installed and before the audio upgrade. So he's the perfect person to ask about the differences. So let's talk about the audio. So I know factory-wise, we have the Mercedes 12.1 infotainment system. I'm not sure of the technical term for the Merc system. We'll call it the infotainment system, which has CarPlay from factory. That works well, does it?
It does indeed, yeah. Bar it being wired, but I've got a solution for that. But yeah, awesome unit. Didn't go for the Burmeister, but awesome unit to use. Yes, definitely.
So you've got wireless CarPlay now, haven't you?
I have.
Yes.
I've got an adapter, which I've got right here. This is something we sell. It gives me wireless Apple CarPlay without wires. So
it's wireless.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hit us up if you need that upgrade. Now, in terms of audio, we obviously spec the car to have just BOGO standard audio because we wanted to go for the upgrade. Now, the difference between the focal setup and the original, can you recall what the original was like?
Original was basic, it wasn't Burmeister, so fairly basic. There is a limiter on the original sound system, so you can't go up to a certain level. So with the new upgrade, it goes beyond that. So the improvement is exceptional. The sound quality is amazing. Focal flex cone is one of the best on the market at the moment.
They're custom fit, yes?
Custom fit speakers for the Mercedes. You can't just put an aftermarket off the shelf speaker in the car.
So if you need a solution for your Mercedes car audio wise, drop us an email, give us a phone call. Chances are you'll be speaking to Jason anyway. Now the sub, that's made a massive improvement, hasn't it?
The sub is absolutely amazing. I've gone for the top of the range, elite range 12-inch sub. It absolutely pounds. You don't need it in this car, but I love my bass, and the quality of the bass is second to none. Cannot miss that bass.
Okay. What type of music do you listen to typically?
Hip hop, R&B, old school really. I'm fairly old guy.
Right, not that old. Now let's talk about the suspension setup. When we got the car, you had options of how to spec the car in terms of demo. Obviously, you've done the audio, and we said to you, look, you can go coilover route or you can go airlift. Why did you go airlift?
Airlift is because I've had it in previous vehicles. This one was a bigger vehicle, so in terms of the quality of the ride, I couldn't turn down the chance of putting airlift on the vehicle. It's made such an improvement. The original system was like a boat, so putting air suspension on has lowered the vehicle, stabilised during cornering, absolutely amazing.
So would you say you had a lot more body roll with the stock system, the stock suspension system?
Yes, correct, yes.
Okay. Now obviously we've got Airlift 3P, is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
I know the controller's in here, so let me show the audience the controller. So here's the Airlift controller. You've got the pressure ride heights for the front and for the rear there as well. Very easy to grab from your center console and adjust accordingly. Your ride height, I'm assuming that's your stock ride height. Do you have another level set for your lower, say, motorway driving? Or do
yeah, so I can actually go a lot lower than normal road use on the motorway, because there's no road humps or potholes on the motorway sort of thing. So the motorway ride height set is a lot lower than...
And no issues with speed humps?
No, not at all. Even on the standard drive height that I've got set.
Final thing, let's talk about security upgrades now. First thing we did, we put a Smart Track Category 6 tracker in here.
Correct.
And we've had Thinkware F800s front and rear?
That's right, yeah. So that's again for driving security, any kind of accidents, which I've actually gone through. Luckily I've had the camera, I've had a rear quarter barge in that sense. Someone's knocked my rear quarter, the camera's picked it up and I've passed it to the insurance company.
You were in the car, weren't you?
I was in the car, I was driving.
Well, he's now taking it to France. He's appeared at Paris Fashion Week. Did a little show there for them. Now, it's just over the road. I mean, you know, it's a Channel Tunnel hop away. Come on, Kanye.
Come on.
Get over here, man.
You've just gone into me.
Let's see that quiet in action on these shores. Make it happen, my friend.
Now, finally, driving style. You know, this is not a sports car. It's a coupe, it's a heavy car, a little bit different to my cars. What's your driving style like? What's the feedback you get from the steering wheel? And obviously, what's the feedback you get from the suspension setup? In
regards to the driving style, there's 3 settings on this car: Comfort, Sports, Sports Plus. Comfort is a cruise. In terms of the sports, everything tightens up.
Okay.
So you know the steering wheel gets heavier in that sense.
Okay.
You know, you can put your foot down a lot more.
Do you throw it into the corners?
I do, yes.
Good to know.
It's fun. You know, sometimes you need to get a bit of stress off. You know, putting your foot down eases
Why not
that.
take it out on the car? Hey, is that what you're saying?
But no, you know, the car is absolutely awesome. It's a lot better than, you know, factory. Doing these upgrades is a must, I have to say. It will be a boring Mercedes then. You know, there's no point me getting this, you know, for me to not enjoy it. So I love it even more by just doing these mods.
One thing I've noticed being in the car is that if this was on coilovers, driving at this ride height, I think we'll be sort of crashing around. I don't feel any knocking, any crashing. It's gliding, it is gliding. I know if you were to put your foot down into a corner, it wouldn't feel like a barge. So I've got to say, this is where airlift suspension sort of comes in on its own. I think it's time we got back to the unit. No doubt there's a lot of emails waiting for you to respond to, and there's going to be customers asking for Jason. So Jason, thank you very much for your time.
Nice one, thank you very much.
Let's get back and we'll go from there.
Cheers, guys.
Okay guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Jason and his Mercedes E300 Coupe. The next episode will be covering our Mustang GT350. That has a ginormous audio install. Now, as always, that's very important. Any questions you have, any comments you have about this build, about the products that are in this car, obviously just drop us a message and we'll do our best to answer them. Share and subscribe, and I'll be back again very soon.